My name's Jack. I was in the Marine Corps from 1963 to 67 and in Vietnam in 65 and 66. I work with the kids at Balboa Hospital. I love them, you know, they're the real deal, man. Are you sleeping okay?
I have a little trouble sleeping at night sometimes. Don't generally fall asleep till about like 3 a.m.
So it's important that you get your rest to heal in particular.
It was great for them to just see somebody that they felt very comfortable with. And Jack is such a giving person.
When a kid gets out of the service, that is enormously disorienting for that young man. So what I try to do at the hospital is just sort of share my little story. When I came back to the States, I had no idea what I was feeling. I'd freeze-dried my emotions. They sent us in December 10th, 1965, and as we started down into the LZ, the ground fire was so intense, everybody pulled off except for the helicopter I was in. Immediately after I got out of the helicopter, I was shot, and we were sitting ducks. Every time anybody moved, they had heavy machine guns, and we lost some kids that night. The whole next 12 years of my life was a gestation period that I didn't understand. Basically, drugs and alcohol is what allowed me to self-medicate until I ended up in a psychiatric hospital. I knew I had to stop what I was doing or I wasn't going to be alive.
Take care, Jack.
Somehow inside, I realized that the kids that I'd lost overseas were as old as they were going to get. And if they could talk to me, they would say, hey, come on, you're living for me now.
There's still some effects of combat stress. I now recognize more instances in our relationship where he was, kind of withdrawn or quiet about certain things that I just didn't understand. He talked a lot about not wanting to be responsible for anybody or anything.
December 7th, 1979, there was a sort of a bigwig meeting talking about opening the Vet Center in San Diego. And I went to that. And that first rap group, that basically saved my life. I got into that room and I was able to exhale. And somehow or another, we found each other one by one, just like in the rice paddy. He was in the first rap group we did with the first vet center down here. Jerry was the most seriously wounded person ever treated at Balboa Hospital. His unit was overrun. You were in country 2 weeks?
4 weeks.
4 weeks.
Yeah.
Overrun, shot point blank twice in the head with an AK. And it was a goddamn miracle that he's here. And I'm really thankful. For me, what worked best was the one-on-one relationship-based counseling. I saw a psychiatric nurse with the Veterans Administration, and I met with her every month until, currently, actually. I don't think you can deal with the war when you're drinking. And I don't think you can stop drinking until you deal with the war. So it's almost like simultaneous.
Jack was almost like a dad, kind of, like the detachment dad. Everybody knew him. He was always there to listen, always there to help, always there to guide, because he's been through so much more than we could ever go through. And he was willing to prevent you from going through it from the lessons that he's learned. And, that was awesome.
To me, the important healing comes from each other. In our case, there weren't a lot of older guys telling us it's going to be okay from the Korea or World War II. We kind of had to figure that out on our own. But once we figured it out, we said, hey, this is an important component. This next group of guys, we got to pass the torch to them.
In my opinion, there's no better connection or support for these guys than the vet-to-vet support. And Jack and his wife both played a huge part here.
What Barbara does at Balboa is she works with the wives group to let them know that you can have combat stress. You can have gone through all of these challenges in life and have a strong and successful relationship. They need to know that that's, a possibility.
Okay, so let's begin. Let's start with our legs crossed, shins crossed in the center. As I was working with the lives, a little light bulb went off in my head. Like, hey, it would be so great if we could actually have yoga classes here for the wives, for the service members. because I knew how much it had helped me in my life and Jack in his life. And I knew we could help not just with the stress, but in helping them with sleep problems, pain management.
The beauty of yoga, why it was attractive to me, was it brought me back here, right now. So yoga's a natural to these kids. Good to see you.
All right, Jack.
Hey, thanks for coming over
All
here,
right.
you know.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
Anything for you, Jack?
Yeah, I know. Why I go down to the hospital and love these kids that much is because I know that once they get on top of this, there's nothing they can't do. It's a completion of a circle. My guys are here with me. Staff Sergeant McCarthy, Fox, Foreign, Nugent, Casebolt, Hall, they're all here, you know? And I really feel that. I feel that. So, going to the hospital completes that circle, you know, for me personally. For those kids, I just want them to know that I completely and totally honor what they've done.
If it's a Vietnam era veteran, it's been so many years now, it's just very hard for them to talk about their experience or their feelings. They probably don't even recognize their feelings. And they just don't know how to make that first step. And that's where I think the VA can be so helpful, especially with a program like this, where it's going to be very easy to make a connection.
Get in the mix. Do not isolate and pull yourself away from existence. That's not a path to health. And the VA is crucial to the recovery of these guys. It's a safety net. Find a place where you're supposed to be. In this mosaic of overall help, you know, serve again. Don't give up.